Good morning, Dream Scalers. On your journey to reality, day 12. In the wave swell of the yellow human, I've been stalling coming here, enjoying the silence. My flirtations with, what was it called? Analpha. Blue night on the crystalline tone. That's very interesting. Dedicate, universalize, cooperate. Dream, the unconscious. Abundance. Intuition. How to explore the unconscious together. Or is it enough to say that our unconscious it's a field where it links all of us, communicates between each of us. We communicate through it to each other, to ourselves. Maybe it communicates to itself using, I don't mean that disrespectfully, using us as its mouth, its hands, its bodies, its minds to dream itself into form. And to give birth to its own abundance. I don't know how you guys were doing yesterday. For me, yesterday was another one of those really strange days. And just to allow this spectral wind just to be, to do, to blow, to cleanse, to release, to liberate. I was observing my mind for the better part of the day, how it was constantly trying to analyze the situation and heal or fix or change or resist and come up with reasons. My goodness, it was exhausting. It's so funny. I mean, I don't do that when I'm like on top of the world. That it's just like, yeah, put on some music, let's dance. When I'm not, it's like, what's going on? This problem solving aspect of the mind can so easily go into overdrive. Overthinking. Why do we overthink? Why do so many of us overthink? There's good reason for it. Just to be peaceful with not being peaceful. Uh-huh. And what's also really interesting is when you get really honest, real and honest, how people, the response is so refreshing. Truth and honesty are just like, why ever would we live in any other way? I mean, I see the reason that's a rhetorical question, rhetorical question, but I envision or dream of a world in which pretending to be fine when you're not, or pretending to be one thing when it's not, is no longer necessary. Oh, what a relief I imagine that to be. And then we can really just take responsibility for ourselves, for our states. At least can we start with just being honest. It's hard. For many of us, it's not an easy call at all. And here comes my analytical mind that is, oh, why is that? I'm not going there today. The blue knight on tone 12. Who's guiding us today? First of all, this day is also dedicated to the root chakra. Sundays are always dedicated to the root chakra. And of course, this would have to be guided by the visionary. I mean, seriously? Oh, that's just brilliant. Oh man, that's just beautiful. Of course, the humans' dreams that we share collectively, they are guided by the ego, the guardian of the collective, the visionary, creative mind. And we may remember that the universe does not, well, here's an interesting thought, is supposed to be biased in favor and in love towards, well, it's certainly biased towards life. But within a certain context, it isn't It isn't judging our creations. So if we manifest our nightmares, that's on us. We get to in one or other sphere. And very most of the time they begin in one of the mental spheres, surely. And then eventually it starts to manifest in the physical world too. Crystal tone. Dedicates cooperation of form. Dedicates cooperation of form. Synthesizes, universalizes. Evolves and prepares future action. That's interesting. I mean, that is so eagle. And that is so perfect with the night. And the night has the Skywalker and the warrior and the Mira as their musketeers. So we're wakefully, or not so wakefully, the unconscious. We can't meet the unconscious. Awake, you can't. I think you just can't. If you do, it's no longer unconscious. Or maybe one could say entering in dream time, whatever kind of consciousness that is, and maybe through psychedelics. That's a way to open that up as well. And through associative, yeah, we can meet it, of course, to a degree. And the warrior over there, it's not just fearlessness, but to question, to seek. And to be sought. And then the mirror, endlessness reflects order. In the occult, on our way tomorrow to the beginning of the red earth wave spell that ran in the unseen. Yesterday I came across a beautiful phrase for this: unraveling toward the future. Spiraling through time. The magnetic earth and the cosmic seed tomorrow. In this wave spell, our humanity, our free will, such a core of free will, our actions. The glyph of the human is the white wind in the antipod, the red moon in the occult, and the blue hand in the analog. So spirit, communication, thinking, breathing, feeling, flowing, water, and knowing and doing and acting and healing. Just so perfect. And all of it wants to flow together in wisdom. Did we grow in wisdom? Are we growing in wisdom? I think so. I see it. And it's very interesting. Meeting people who don't. who predominantly look at the news and see a world in a lot of chaos, our own, I don't know, a lot of our governments are just, what are they doing? What are they thinking? We don't understand. On the other hand, I would say, as long as I've been alive in this body, it's just been dysfunctional. Politics is dysfunctional. It has been as long as I've been around. And this system is a system that doesn't actually work, not in the long run. No, it doesn't. And now it's showing the cracks, and it's kind of scary. And you want to drive change through you want to drive change not too slow, that it causes too much stress, and not too fast, that it causes too much stress, and not to wipe out, but to transform. And it's not easy to transform a whole civilization, a whole thing in existence. It's much easier to wipe it clean and start over. But I mean, that's happened a few times, I suppose. So maybe now it's like, let's try if we can do this some other way. And there are a lot of us here who are like the test tubes of transformation. It's tested on us. We are testing it on ourselves. Is it possible within the biology to take such radical changes and survive? Is it possible? And if we can hold it, then we can be the placeholders for this transformation for the collective. And it's happening. There's so many people speaking in the public space about their own transformations and holding space for transformations of the rest of us. And it's like a network, a chain of, okay, people are explaining what's happening to us. What are we feeling? Or what are we experiencing? And how do we navigate? And it's no longer just, and it's become so widespread. Sure, there's a lot of, and this is the interesting thing of this time, there are a lot of different kinds of voices, a lot of different, but the point is to become self-reliant, to have our own intuition work. There are a million people who are telling you what you should and what you shouldn't eat, and how you should and shouldn't eat it, and how you should prepare it, and what you should eat it with, and I mean, I don't listen to them, but just like my mouth drops open, like why you should not do yoga, why it's not good for you, or why yoga above a certain age, and blah, and blah, and blah. I'm like, where does it stop? Like, it doesn't. I have to take the responsibility to say, what am I listening to? What information do I allow in? And to observe, what is this information doing to me? Some I am immune to, and others I'm not. I really am not. And it's like, I can't walk around protecting myself from information. I have to just understand, well, wait, I have to create my own baseline and stick with it. And I'm in this paradigm shift, amongst the paradigm shifts that I'm in, especially when it comes to things like nutrition and whatever, to find out like what works and what doesn't, and to remember kind of like my thing is I do want to remain fluid. That is to say, there may be periods of time where I'm like, okay, now this substance calls me, or someone brings me that substance, or like, oh yeah, take some vitamin D3, or like, oh, I make turmeric capsules for my father's dog for his, arthritis. And then there's all this turmeric left over. I'm like, oh yeah, well, or the capsules are there. I'm like, oh God, there's so many of them. Maybe it goes off. Start taking them. Okay, so I start taking them. And then something in me starts kicking up a joy. There's like an increased little joy factor somewhere. So I'm like, okay, maybe that is the way the body says, yeah, we like this. This is good. Bring it. But I can't now make a rule of it and say, okay, this I'm taking for the rest of my life. Keep checking in with, maybe now it stops. It should stop. Don't keep on taking it, because there's a period where you stock up your storehouse or whatever is needed, and then you stop. It's like eating. You gotta stop eating at some point, and the body tells you when that is. And anyone who has any issues with overeating, my recommendation is start chewing more. It slows down the speed of eating, and it will get that sense of, I'm actually satisfied and full, come on when it comes on. A lot of us eat so fast. I think it takes the body at least 15 or 20 minutes to register food has arrived somewhere. So if you eat fast, you can put a lot of it in there. And then the body registers, ooh. And then even a little bit later, the body registers, that was just gunk. There's no nutrition in here. Food. And you're perpetually hungry because you perpetually need nutrition, which you're not getting through the kind of food you're eating. I mean, how out of alignment with ourselves can we get? How out of alignment with ourselves can we get? And we survive. It's incredible. It's actually incredible. And how difficult can it be to get back into alignment? And why would that be? Why would the body not snap back into what's natural for us? Why would it let us go so far? And what does that have to do with our unconscious? Why the need for pain? Maybe by the time we display heavy physiological pain, we finally get to talk about it. It's finally in the sphere where we can feel it. Because when it was just emotional, many of us can't feel it or talk about it. So much stigma around our emotional pain and trauma. Maybe that's changing now too. I mean, trauma is like everywhere. It's been talked about everywhere. And good. The generation in their 70s and above haven't often had an easy time with that. And many of us, younger generations, it's not that much different. You gotta function, feeling your pain, feeling the heartache, feeling the loss, feeling the grief, whatever, feeling the disappointment of our dreams. Where do we put that if we have to suppress it? Or the compromises we have to make in order, I want to be with you, I love you, but you are restricting my freedom to a degree that I actually can't accept, but it's also culturally acceptable that my freedom should be restricted, and now, how do I consciously reconcile that? Often we can't, and we don't. So it goes into the unconscious, and then it starts fermenting there. Not necessarily into something healthy over time. And then we start doing things that are incongruent with ourselves, that are not either we toe a line that we actually don't want to toe, or a part of our psyche gets split off and then starts acting out the shadow. And it can quite be, as strange as it is, that we ourselves don't even know that we're doing that. It's like another part, and that the two parts protect themselves from each other, because the unconscious can act out and protect the conscious aspects of our personality from knowing, because there would be no, I'm a good person, I don't do this thing, I don't do such things, or whatever, it just doesn't fit, And then the next step, white mirror in the occult, is that we see these incongruencies very easily in others. We see it in the reflection of the mirror of our reality very easily. And it's very, very, very easy to judge, because the part of us that is on the one side would never do that, and doesn't understand, can't even really see that it itself does that too. And we can see this rarely in ourselves, but it's very easy to see in others. We see others complain or criticize or judge against behaviors or things or wishes or desires or acts or thoughts or feelings or whatever, and not be aware that that they themselves or we ourselves are embodying, are having that same thing. It's our psyche is something else. And it's hard to be confronted with that. It's not easy, but to meet ourselves with compassion and say, like, wait. But it's hard if the whole society, take infidelity, like, take lying. We do it so naturally, and many of us not aware that we're lying to ourselves, not aware that we're evading ourselves and maybe evading others. And then we're sensitive beings, so we can sense someone is evading themselves or evading us or evading a topic, and because we can sense how uncomfortable it makes them feel, we intuitively evade with them to keep the peace for ourselves, for them, to keep people comfortable, because it's so innately natural to so many of us. And maybe some people on the planet answer that tendency in themselves radically. Like, you can only blast the whole thing down because there's no soft way around it. And then a very sensitive soul who would naturally be inclined to play out that same game says, I'm not having it, and becomes completely insensitive, and because it's the only way to be like a bull in a china shop type of thing, because to be like completely uncompromising, like there's no middle ground, because the middle ground can be the most difficult place to find, and sometimes we have to swing from one extreme to another, and we can do that across lifetimes. So maybe you see this uncompromising traits already displayed in the child, not realizing they have maybe lived several lifetimes, or they're an answer to the parental system where untruth and lies are lived as the norm. And then this child says, no, I'm not doing that. And then actually the salvation or the the liberation would be, if we are awake, Skywalker, if we are awake with each other, awake with ourselves, having an understanding of course, psychology, spirituality, biology, all of it belongs here together now. You I don't think so. But for many of us, it belongs here. Maybe the future, most people may not need it because we do the paradigm shift, 100 monkey syndrome, then it's like you just naturally, swing across to the other paradigm. I don't know. But for many of us, it's not optional not to know, not to have the awareness, not to understand how the unconscious or the subconscious, how the programming works. And then we can find the middle ground because we've fully explored the extremes and their dysfunction and seeing how neither extreme works. But in order to break out of one extreme, it's often necessary to head into the other extreme and to have a consciousness of that, to have an allowance for that to a degree, to have awareness of it. To meet life with curiosity, with honesty, not with condemnation and repression. Where is that getting us? It doesn't work. And how do we come out of that? With some intention. Yellow seed, blue eagle, in this wave spell, the intention for the crystal eagle, incidentally, who's guiding us today. I mean, if we look at him as the crystal eagle, and I'd encourage it because it fits really well, is guided by the blue hand, by the healer, the ultimate healer, the penultimate healer, perhaps. Well, whatever, I don't know. But the storm who we've just had, also liberation, liberating the seed, liberating our potentials into truth, into light, the light of truth, the light of consciousness. Why in the world would we choose the lie consciously? And that's a kind of a rhetorical question. Of course, there are tons of reasons why we do. And I so want to invite us as humans to not need to have that anymore. To grow honest, to become honest, to become real. Starting with ourselves, and to be choosing. I mean, what choice can you make when it's been bred into us to be dishonest and to choose people because we need them, choose our friends according to their bank accounts or their social status or what they can give us, what we can get from them in some anyway, using codependence, whatever, if that's deep, but that's in there. Often we can't see that. It's not easy. It's not possible. So what's the gauge? What's the gauge? And how many of these answers can we only give for ourselves? And nobody can give them for us. For me personally, I find that sometimes extremely difficult because, of course, there's a need for validation in me too. It's like, am I like completely off? Or, and who can validate me? Like, without the social filters or their own filters, or like, how do you, like, I would need to connect with a couple of magnetic suns, like really say, like, wait a minute. I mean, what is it, that makes the magnetic, and what makes it, what makes the sun, you know. And then again, even that wouldn't really work, because there's still all those other individual nuances. And now I get it. Where's the gauge? It's in the collective. It's like, well, how are you behaving? Any of my personal dreams or my personal attitudes, they don't matter nothing. They're just mine. It just doesn't matter. And where I'm trying to find, you know, it's like, do I fit into the collective? Am I a member of the society I live in that is, you know, am I causing destruction or more havoc? And then what if I'm meant to cause that destruction and that havoc? And everyone else says, no, that's not good. But what if that's exactly my calling? And who's going to reflect that back? Do I just know that in myself? Oh man, this is like too deep down the rabbit hole. These questions make me personally feel extremely uncomfortable. Ooh, paddling up. I am paddling up so hard. Like, no. Can't breathe down here. Jesus. Endlessness reflects order. It's the lunar, the second Luna in the synchronicities. You know, our inner order, our inner intuition to guide us towards the synchronicities of our lives, and with each other in cooperation. Ah, synchronicities, something so beautiful. And you can't wish them about. You can't make them. You can't, nothing. There's nothing. You can't make synchronicities happen. That's just the thing. It just happened. They just happen. And yet there is a force, there's something behind it. Wide wind. The unseen realms. And it's clear that I come out of a world conditioned to not really work with the unseen realms, like conditioned into materialism, what we can prove, what we can see, what we can, this need to, prove, the scientific method, the scientific approach. And there's a lot of merit, of course. I mean, it's wonderful. The amazing thing is, or the wonder is, to marry everything together, or to realize we're living in this cauldron of all of these aspects: faith in the unseen, belief in the unmanifest, belief in the future, proof of whatever, seeking proof, seeking methods by which to prove. It's, I mean, this earth feels like a huge kindergarten to me, like a huge playground. I don't mean that a kindergarten in terms of we're all here immature children, but we are all here. It's like this playing field for all of us to explore anything we want to explore. Whether that's the mental realms, whether that's, you know, creating or exploring quantum realms, understanding God, exploring love, exploring psyche, self, trauma, humanity, exploring better ways of building, exploring how to clean up the mess we're making. And without, you know, we have to do it on all the fronts. Some of us have to explore which mushrooms are going to help us take care of all the oil spills, and which mushrooms will help us take care of digesting the plastic. Or is it just going to be the earth of the future is going to have plastic in everything, and that's how it is? Right now, maybe whatever carbon or carbon-based life form will be a plastics-based life form. Whatever, earth, everything, there will be plastics everywhere, and maybe it won't bother anything. It will be, there will be maybe that'll be like a time marker in a million years. People are gonna, when they find DNA, or not DNA, but like life from the past, it's like, yeah, this is the plastic era. Everything's contaminated with plastics, and this is before pre-plastics. Or we find ways of healing the psyche that causes us to continue polluting in the name of profit and not caring at all about the environment or other humans, or like genuinely, all of that. How do we, like coming into coherence with the earth, with the natural world, with the galaxy, with being in alignment with that globally, collectively. And at the moment, I look into the collective and it's like, my goodness, depending on what we believe, defending our beliefs, how violent can we get in the defense of our beliefs? And how difficult is it for us to meet each other on radically different beliefs? And if that's a reflection of our inner state, we polarize. This lunar mirror polarizes. And we're reminded of two lunar tones, the blue night, the antipode is the Skywalker. Today is also on the crystalline tone, but in this wave spell, the Skywalker is on the lunar tone, tone 2, challenge, stabilize, polarize, stabilizing, challenge. And there's this polarizing, the power, the polarization of space stabilizes exploration. And the challenge may be vigilance, or vigilance may be challenged. Vigilance. Oh, here they say vigilance, and sometimes they say wakefulness. Vigilance. Interesting word. And this is the challenge for the human. We polarize. And polarizing space, whatever that means. But the image that I'm getting is like, okay, we're humans, we have different ideas, so we can move to different places on the planet. But globalization, or the things we're doing, if we're believing, if you dig into the earth, you're causing X, or if you're polluting, you're causing an effect on the whole planet. So it doesn't matter how far away can I move. If you're doing atom tests, or if you're depositing nuclear waste into any place on this planet, in time it's going to affect the entire planet. So we can't really just go into a cave and say, we're going to leave you to your devices, because what you're doing is sooner or later going to affect everyone. So how do we come together and say, like, wait a minute, we can't do this. We can't be so short-sighted that we're allowing ourselves to do something that in time is going to probably have like a hugely, crassly devastating effect. And knowing that other technologies are willfully blocked that clean energy has been willfully blocked for the longest time because of profit. Like, and to understand the system is keeping us, part of the system keeps us distracted and uneducated and following, like, the whole sheep mentality thing. It's like, wait a minute, and what power do we have, each one of us? And we are told, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, a cosmic mustard seed, tomorrow, you can move mountains. So, one thing we can do, seriously, Blue Night, is, I'm not sure where we're at, for example, with this nuclear waste on the planet. That was a thing that used to freak me out as a kid. Like, I just didn't get it. I'm like, you're doing what? It's radioactive decay period, halftime is what? And you're putting it into what? And you're putting it at the bottom of where? And what are you thinking? Yeah, you'll be dead by the time this stuff comes out of its cage, but like, what about the fucking rest of us? Like, what are you doing? I didn't get it. Or is that another, like, scare tactic? Why do we, I mean, what human software, what human point, X point, Y point, Z point 3 is thriving on scare tactics, whether they're true or not. But okay, so let's go back to that. I live in a world, and I don't know if that's true, but as far as I have learned, there's nuclear waste on the planet that doesn't, and that is just like a ticking time bomb. So I would say I dream of us coming up with a solution for that, either that, or since it's known, and that and we can communicate with the sun. That's me already saying how. No, I shouldn't say how. I dream of, or I envision humans to have software upgrades. This human going toward hello, Tatiana, can you finish the sentence, please? I'm skipping forward to go backwards. The occult wave spell under this human wave spell, free will, is the earth wave spell. And we're going into the future. And they're meeting that future tomorrow, right? Like, it's just a fractal scaffolding. But the future evolution underneath the human, always our future is, it's linked to the earth. So I'd say we dream together a future, a human, either the earth herself, or some way that the human and the earth are not going to have any negative, or very little, like no major negative catastrophic damaging effects from the nuclear waste when it opens itself and releases itself into our waters and our atmosphere and wherever else too. That we have received updates from the dream field, from wherever, because it's known that we're heading for, if that's the truth, if that is that's how I would deal with this nuclear waste. That either we find a way to go in there, dig it up, and now we know what to do with it. It's something good. We found something really cool that we can do with it. Use it. Or we've called in the upgrades into our systems that we can deal with it, that it will not And what is this incredible, maybe we have this influx in cancer and this kind of like frantic attempt to get cures for cancer, because when either whatever nuclear, I learned recently that there's smaller scale nuclear bombs. They're not this Hiroshima massive thing. You get smaller ones. Like, fuck, how sick are we? My goodness. Like, if we're contaminating ourselves with this nuclear shit on the planet, and one of the responses of our biology is cancer, and maybe we're frantically looking for the cures because we know we're all going to be having radiation exposure in time, and we need to have a way to deal with it. And maybe our good friend industry wants to monetize in on that again, big time. Good luck to you, my friends. Maybe there's another part of humanity that says, we're going to do this through the mental field. We're going to do this through Blue Hand, Blue Eagle, Blue Night, cooperative dream time. We're dreaming, we're feeding our healing modalities, our healing energy into the collective directly. I'm not developing a modality that then I sell or I teach you. I'm feeding it into the collective dream field directly. And it goes into your DNA expression directly if you choose it. I can't override your free will, but I can tell you the healing is in the field. You can choose it. Anyone can choose it. But in order to know that we can choose it, as Kryan always says, we have to cognize it. We have to know that we can choose it. We have to know health and healing is an option, no matter what. That's the first prerogative. Nothing is stronger than your free will, nothing. No food supplement, no toxin, nothing. But by the time you wake up, it might be a little too late for this version of you, because you may not have exercised, we may not have exercised our free will, our cognization of how do we control our biology, how do we sit in the control center of our DNA and turn the protein switches on and off at will, consciously, instead of having some whatever turn stuff on and off on our behalf. How is that done? And the methods on how that is done, there are many. They're all over the show. And it's like, how do I find that? How do I find it? You find it by giving what I would repeat then, pure intent that you want it. And life will serve it to you. It will come. Ask out loud. Say thank you for the information reaching me, if the information is needed. If you don't need any information, just say thank you for my healing. Thank you for being healthy. Thank you, biology, for just working fantastically. Thank you for taking your updates in the background. I don't need to know about it. Auto-generating storm. We don't need to know about it. Some of us are like digging deep into the knowability of stuff, when some are not, and there's no need for it. If you enjoy it, enjoy knowing, good. If you don't have to. We don't know how you cut your skin, your body heals it. Do you know how it's doing that? Do you need to know the minutiae? You don't. It's just doing that. And if you have any doubt about anything, I recommend read or listen to it. It's on YouTube as an audio. Maybe I'll put it in the description box. Marlo Morgan's Message from Down Under. My goodness. That should be, if I were president of the world, I'd be a dictator and say every child at the age of 10 or earlier has to read or listen to this book. It's compulsory, mandatory. There's certain books you have to read. It's like the Bible. You have to open your mind up to reality along all layers, on all levels. That's mandatory. There are a couple other books that I consider mandatory too. Think outside of the box. Open up that mind and keep it open. Your ability to imagine anything, it starts there. And if the school system just removes our ability to imagine things from us because that's not rational, that's not real, that's not possible. You're living in this kind of biology, that's not possible. I mean, come on. Anything, you gotta keep your ability to dream. It's really, really important. A human who can't dream is a little bit crippled. And we see where that's getting us. Okay, doing a good hour here. Who's our analog today? The warrior, fearlessly questioning intelligence. We can dream our intelligence. Dream ourselves free. There's no need for judgment here. There's just love. This simplicity. Oh. And enjoying our friends and our fellow humans. And anyone we don't enjoy, we don't have to engage with them. But the ones we enjoy, it's just so nice. We're so nice to each other. I love my friends. It's I love my family. It's we're just so good together. Making food, having a good time, singing together, dancing together, talking with each other, making love, laughing, creating things together, projects together. It's just so nice being human and being here with each other on this planet. And if even in our families where we can't get away from them so easily, there are people who really rub us up the wrong way, well, what is the lesson? Is it a lesson of compassion? Is it a lesson of boundary? Is it a lesson of you're so different from me, but that helps me define me? And I like me better, but I don't have to hate you, and I don't have to fight against you. I just can let you be. Can I let you be? Can I let you have your opinions? And can I not engage? Can I be honest? Can I be free, even if it's so different from you? Individuation, indeed. Or what do I need? Do I need your approval? Do I need you to be like me? Do I need you to think like me? Do I need to force myself on you? Am I the one who's instigating all the crap? We are awake. Comes another day for you and me in paradise. And then there are people in chronic pain. There are people in chronic fear. Can we send love and healing to them, light? May every human on this planet somehow live a comfortable day today. May every human on this planet be somehow at peace with whatever's going on in their world today. And immediately when I say that, I see people in war zones and it just immediately interferes with my frequency. And yeah, what does that do? Am I helping by letting that interference Can I send light anyway? Can I send light to the ones with the guns in their hands, defending, not understanding? We need to communicate with each other, and we need to communicate our needs with each other. Like this global control, this control through economics, control through war, control through laws, control through restrictions, control through withholding of resources, not sharing. We're just not being human properly as far as I'm concerned. If the earth has put oils in certain parts of herself only, it's like surely it's meant for all of us to benefit from that resource. You know, and if it's the land you're living on and you're right there, we'll all contribute to the systems that we all need to get the resource and to get it contributed evenly across the planet, or like that we end up all benefiting from it. Surely. Evolution. So if I have the faith of a mustard seed, then I know my vision of a future humanity is a sure thing. It's a sure thing. And it's not my dictatorship, it's just I'm going to experience that, because that's the world I've created for myself to experience. And that's a really cool place to be in. That's a really, really happening place. Like, I can't wait. It's really fun. It's really funky. It's really, really nice. It's really, really free. And it's a really, really interesting, a very dynamic place. And if it isn't that already, maybe I just have filters over my eyes that says that's the future. It isn't. It's here already. It's absolutely parallel. It exists absolutely parallel. So what Luna Mira, what order is challenging me from experiencing perhaps more of my own potential? What order am I interpreting as disorder? What harmony am I interpreting as disharmonious? And is it just a question, how do I slipstream myself in flow? Am I, and I'm just misinterpreting it, or am I not? And I don't know what to do about it. And again, what's my gauge? What's my goal? What's the vision for this eagle? Today's eagle, its analog is the seed. Tomorrow is cosmic seed. And then its analog is the cosmic eagle. So we've got this beautiful double eagle power, and then we're going into the wave spell of the red serpent, and we have a magnetic eagle in the antipode. And then we have 4 eagles here. Then we have the lunar world bridger. Its occult is the crystal eagle. So today's crystal eagle has the lunar world bridger. So there's a real little power circle here. There's a real beautiful little power circle here through this eagle, this visionary, creative part of our minds, which has all its powers in the blue night and in the Skywalker, in its consciousness, its wakefulness, our consciousness, our wakefulness, our exploratory powers, our dream ability, our intuition, our abundant dream time where everything is in there, our seed potentials. What else do we have here today? The warrior, lifting, dreaming fearlessly. And the warrior is also attached to the lunar world bridger again. And the World Bridger is also attached to the Skywalker, who we have here today. So there's a lot of power in this part of the world, in this transition from the human wave spell into the serpent wave spell, which means there's anyway a kind of like backwards and forwards in time. We're moving into the body, the instinct, our free will. We've come from this auto-generation storm wave spell into the human, through the human, our wisdom and free will. Surely we want our instincts to work for us. Blue Night, the occult wave spell of the serpent is, no, we don't need to know that one. The analog wave spell of the serpent is the warrior. So we have all this warrior here today. The cosmic seed, not much warrior there, I think, but definitely the warrior in the serpent, the warrior in the World Bridger, and then the blue hand. Is there a warrior there? Nope. But this, this light bearer, the warrior of light, the intelligence, that's here also today, this collective intelligence, a collective dream time, individually and collectively, dreaming love into this world, cooperation into this world, that each human gets to explore and express and their full potential. And then as collectives, as little groups, as families, we can grow and further and foster and nurture and nourish our potential. Patience. Some potentials require some time. Being there for each other, being supportive, being honest, creating a new order, a new world order of honesty, of shared resources, of mutual support, and of understanding. Okay, wait, there's only one of this, but there's more than one of us who need this one. And then coherence will dictate, well, who needs it the most? Where is it of greatest benefit? Who can wait for the next summer? who can, or who is going to have to do without? Or how do we best administer this resource? The mind, the thinking mind, the egoic mind often cannot do this. The intuition can. Coherence can. And then there is no resentment because we are in coherence with each other. All of us know you have got to have that. I know I want it, I need it too, but you need it more. And all of us know that. And if anyone doesn't know it, or we can explain it and it's like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. And it's just like, yeah, it's so easy. I think it's really easy and elegant. And I think I want to thank the past because we've gone through a lot of sacrifice and a lot of pain to build a world that we can build upon. And we can take out our structures are pretty solid. Our fundaments are solid. Fundaments are, what is a fundament? Foundation. Our foundations are solid, and we're gonna need to learn to destroy the foundations as well for new foundations to come. Blah 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 blah. But we got this. I really think we got this, and we're doing it. And I want to support the collective that says we're not going to drop each other. We're going to support every life to be at least able to survive with the necessary minimum of comfort, so that people don't have to look at their future and be panicking about how are we going to survive? How is this going to work out? We are going to survive. We are going to see to it that every human has food and shelter and, gets to make music. It's so much simpler than what we've currently got going, and it's going to be so much better when we actually manifest it. Yeah. Okay. enough. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this collective. Healing yourself, healing your family, healing your history, healing your DNA, adjusting, reprogramming, downloading different versions, whatever way you want to think of it, creating, envisioning, dreaming, being the urban shamans and being our own healers and bringing adjustments into the field through our own experience that is helping everyone walk a lighter path, walk a freer path, and we are the ancestors of the future. And what is the legacy we are leaving for our future descendants, ourselves? Are we leaving this world a better place? Are we leaving the collective dream field with, beautiful options? Like beautiful water crystals rather than the distorted water crystals. But here I am going into judgment that one is better than the other, which it may be. It would appear so. It looks like it. Structured water seems to be better, quote unquote, than unstructured water. But yeah, so can we structure our own dream fields, our own water with our love, our compassion, our patience, our gratitude, our joy, even if it's just a little. Yesterday was a day for me, it was hard to find my joy. I was constantly rubbing up against my dead skin cells, the parts of me that I was shedding. There was just constant friction, but I did it. I was very I should be proud of myself because it's like, okay, just don't let the old mechanisms catch fire all the time. Catch fire all the time. Hold your horse. I was dousing my fire. Not like my passion, but like really this kind of not what I understand now, this overthinking, over analyzing. Just being was hard. Breathing, I was breathing fire, it was like, just wait, just like, maybe these are radioactive processes in your body and your body is trying to heal and trying to download software to deal with it. If you're constantly going into tension physiologically, thinking, tensing, resisting, checking out, medicating yourself, like I had such a need for food. I wanted to eat something to not feel what I was feeling because it felt uncomfortable, it felt tense, it felt energy, a lot of energy. It felt all kinds of things I couldn't. And now here it starts again. Now that I'm talking about it, it feels as if my whole system is turning onto an overdrive, and I can't interpret this going on. I can't. I don't know what this is, because it's rage, it's fire, it's flood, it's water, it's feeling, it's desire. It wants to throw me. I just want to explode in ecstasy. At the same time as I want to really, there's a really destructive force. It feels pretty nuclear if you ask me. And should I allow it? Should I amp this up and just sit with it or not? I feel it in my throat chakra. I feel like I want to vomit. It starts a gagging effect. Some sort of nauseation is happening. It's really interesting. It's like, no, I don't really want to encourage this because it's uncomfortable. If it happens by itself, I just would like to breathe, not to repress, not to push it away, because if it's a necessary experience that my body needs to do, if this is how they upgrade or they update, I don't know what this is. So now I'm letting it abate. And my mind is completely confused about this. And my mind is like, I want to understand everything. I want to control everything. And how do I can't reconcile this either. There's thoughts in my head that are like, we can't reconcile this. And then there's a part of me saying, now wait, be patient, be still, be loving, be kind. Meet this with the white dog. Meet this with the today. Yesterday, what was the occult? White wind, blue storm, electric storm. And we've just been through it, the storm. So just keep your feet still. Just breathe. Yesterday was just all about breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. And just be still. Just breathe. I did it. So today I learned from yesterday. Today, allow the order. Who guides the lunar where are we going? Who guides this mirror? Love, the dog. A lunar mirror is guided by lunar dog. And yeah, there's the dragon, there's the crystal knight. Yeah, so just let it be. Let it organize itself. Let it order itself into, optimal functioning, because that's the intention. That's my seed potential. God didn't put me here for suffering or for not optimal functioning, for not developing myself, exploring myself. Not everything is always going to be optimal, but for me as a son, my life purpose is surely life itself. And to pray for it, to nurture it, to give light to it, to draw light from it, to speak through light codes, to live through light codes, whatever that means. And I struggle with people struggling. There's something in me wants to really, really help, and it's difficult when I can't. Okay. There is a joy to life, and I'm going to enjoy this life and not deal with guilt or feed my prayer into the collective, and envision my friends and anybody on this planet who is in pain in a future version of themselves where they're not in pain, where they look back on this time like, man, that was difficult, but look at me now. I'm dancing, I'm loving, I'm laughing. I never believed this was possible. I really defied all the odds against myself. I didn't think this was possible, and yet here I am. How is it possible that I'm living something that I didn't even think myself was possible? Wow. Life is a miracle. How many times have we said that? How many times can we still say that? Because needed. I wish us a beautifully inspired, dreamy day. Share your dreams with your friends and ask them what their dreams are. Talk about your dreams. Never mind reality. Just dream as free as you can. Wouldn't this be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? What if it were like that? What if it were like that? What if everybody just laughed a lot? What if on the train stations they'd play a lot of comedy and people on the train platforms just be like laughing a lot? Instead of advertisements and bomb news, what if we just played funny cat videos and just laughed a lot? What if what if it happened that the person who's at the ice cream stall in front of us, just like, or behind us, whatever, just decided to pay for our bill as well, and just left 20 euros extra and said, that pays for whoever comes behind me. You know what I mean? Like, what if you did that? Your ice cream costs 5 euros. Here's 25 euros. Make that go as far behind as, and the ice cream vendor not saying, "Ooh, I'm keeping that for myself as a tip and let everybody else pay for their ice cream." But say to them, that person in front of you paid for your ice cream. That person, 2 persons in front of you paid for your ice cream. Imagine how much joy that would just generate. It's just like so easy. And what would cost you, you know? All right. Anyway, how much joy did that vision just generate in my own cells versus what is this guy doing? What are they doing? And no, 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 no. Petrol is becoming more expensive, and they're closing that canal, and they're throwing that bomb, and they're not coming to peace agreements over there, and they're throwing people out of the country over there, and then there's this, and then there's that. How does that make ourselves feel? All right. I wish you a beautifully inspired and blessed day. See you tomorrow. Aho.